Hey Dark, what's the name of my fallen dwarf comrade?
Azarak, Azorrak, I think.
Azarak. Okay.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, I get like I don't know if it's allergies or cold or what. So if I pause to like sneeze or something, that's why. If I'm a little kind of sluggish, that's why.
I'm going a bit sluggish today as well. One of my legs isn't working right.
You've got
So-
something different every week though.
Yeah, I know it's getting really bad, but yeah, I'm like having to fling myself about the house just to move. It's incredibly fucking painful. uh, I'm really tired, but still playing.
I was saying I did a thing with Phil yesterday just to cover what happened to Ryze kind of in between, although it was mostly just like exposition really. So his character actually was doing something while he was away.
Oh.
Right.
Have you been caught up? What happened?
I'll put the episode up that you were in so you could listen to it. So I think he's listened to that.
Yeah, I did. I did listen to it.
Drac and Alex, are you both there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Alright, cool. Okay, let me just move the screen. Okay, so he's travelled through the Underdark from Kinildar and came up at what appears to be like a volcano. And basically just said, let's go, and started running up a stairway, or one of the stairways off to the side. I guess as they're like running off to go up this dark stairwell that's built into the inside of the volcano. Ryze, you'll just kind of like just be catching up to them, and finally you're just like catching sight of them, and you can see them taking off up the stairway. Do I want to put you here?
Yeah, I'll try to catch up then.
Yeah, and you guys, when you all run up the stairway, I mean, you're only a couple of floors up, or a couple of flights of stairs up. When you run into some ratkin, there's about 7 of them. Again, they're like the height of a dwarf, a large rat kind of creature. No clothing on them whatsoever, but they all have large, like woven baskets that they're carrying over their backs, and they seem to have like some kind of metallic ore, just big chunks of it, in the back of these baskets over their backs. Clearly, they would have heard you coming up the stairs, but they don't react in any way. They're just all taking their time in line, stepping up the stairs one step at a time. Kind of like the rats you encountered before, they just seem oblivious to your presence and not bothered that you're there behind them at all in the stairway. The stairway itself is softly illuminated by the magma chamber. Other than that, it's very dark. He's here just now. Yeah, so we just want to do.
Well, I imagine if there aren't any of the veins on the ceiling in here, then we probably aren't in as much danger as last time. So I think probably just keep going up the stairs and see if they even notices.
Sure. I mean, if you just like continue past, I mean, you're quite large, so you'll have to like kind of push them to the side to get past them. And when you just nudge them to the side to a dam, they just kind of like, they just go with the motion. They don't fight it. They don't turn to be annoyed at you. They just kind of stare at you upwards with a blank expression on their faces. They have that same kind of dull glowing, sort of a muted glowing in their eyes. But yeah, they don't do anything. They don't offer any resistance to you at all, and you're easily able to pass them if you wish.
Yeah, the them will just continue doing that then and kind of gesture for others to follow on.
Hardly right behind him.
So it was Salazar and Dracan that had the tingling in the back of their minds, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so. Ricardo got hit by the thing, but he
Ricardo
didn't
got hit by it, but he never heard like speaking after
never
in
had
the
any
later
effect.
stages like you two did.
Yes, so for you two guys, you had a voice telling you, like, stop, halt, you know, go no further. And as you're ascending the stairs, that cry is getting louder and more incessant and more demanding. It sounds more aggressive. There are many stairs winding upside this volcano. There's some sections that you have to crawl on ledges where it's falling away. There's some parts where like makeshift bridges have been put down, little planks of wood just set across the gaps, and it's rather precarious. You have to cover your faces for the majority of the time that you're ascending because of the gases coming up from this magma chamber. But eventually you're able to reach the zenith, the top of the volcano. You can see, like, built into the side of the volcano is this massive obsidian platform and this huge, like, U-shaped gateway out of massive obsidian pillars. Through the gateway itself, when you look through the centre of it, you can see the terrain on the opposite side, but it doesn't look quite the same as the rest of the terrain around you. It looks like kind of that faint purple foggy way. And at the same time, you can see like bright fluorescent fires going off in the distance. The image seems to like flicker and shape and shimmer and change. But physically coming out of this gap in the gates, appearing from sort of in the middle of it in midair, it's just this steady stream, this huge flock of hundreds of winged demons, and it's just streaming out into the sky, and it swirls around a couple of times and then heads off south. And there's just hundreds and hundreds of them constantly just moving out, swirling around and flying off into the distance. And then above you, you can see the clouds rising up and splitting out across the skies in this huge stalactite. This big massive spike from the sky just piercing the clouds downwards, facing down towards the whatever the hole in the volcano is called.
Mouth.
Yeah, just into the mouth of the volcano. It almost looks as if it's like drip feeding it. And it's all illuminated with this bright orange and red glow. And you can see dozens and dozens of those little ratkin workers with baskets on their back with these faint green metallic ore. And they're all clambering up onto this obsidian platform. And many of them start climbing makeshift rope ladders, ropes, hanging ropes, and hanging, chains, which ascend up into the stalactite hanging from the sky. And everything around you kind of just has this unnatural aura around it. Angles just don't feel right. They feel as if they're going off at, odd directions. You kind of feel unsteady on your feet, as if the ground is shifting in a strange way. Is anybody looking at Drakan?
I'm gonna say no, because I'm probably gonna be in the back with Salazar. So maybe Salazar's.
Well, Ryze is coming up from behind you, so Ryze will probably see you first.
There's that too.
I mean, you see the silhouette of Drakan Ryze as you're coming out this stairway. At the same time as you can see his silhouette, what he looks like with his robes. This kind of flickering shadow image of something much larger and winged with claws and chains hanging from it just kind of like superimposes itself over his silhouette, and it sort of flickers in and out of existence at the same time. And a second being, almost identical in size, kind of like flickers in and out of existence, and it's standing just like a ways off to the side from where everyone else is.
Yeah, I suppose it's a natural scene where the realms are intertwined with each other.
Yes, I mean, you recognise from what we talked about that this is the various obvious signs of the realms overlaid, this physical point in each of them overlaid on each other, and at this point in the material realm, it's causing them to merge into kind of like one existence, but not at the same time. But clearly the the portal of the gate itself, the Obsidian one, is allowing, you know, the physical manifestations of demons to just come streaming out. Oh, and I forgot there's a sound. Does everyone have the Roll 20 sound on? Because I know some people turn it off. So it's very loud, booming, elongated horn sound echoes out across the landscape, and you can see this semi-opaque, you know, transparent figure of this huge hulking creature on 4 legs with tentacles and a face, just kind of like walking out through the gate and then kind of like flickering and disappearing into nothing. But you can very definitely hear it as it's booming out this loud sound.
How far away is this creature?
I mean, your stairway that's came up is only a few dozen meters away from the gate itself, so you can like look upwards and you just see this thing. Because of its size, you know, it seems pretty close to you. But it flickers and it's, you know, it's transparent as if it's there and it's not there, and it flickers and then you can't see it at all.
Is it like gone completely, or do we still see footsteps or anything?
Oh no, you don't see any footprints or anything like that, no. It was most sort of like solid as it kind of like stepped through the gate, and then once it came out, it just kind of like flickered and disappeared.
Foreign invaders. They should not be here.
And I mean, I don't know if Ryze like announces his return or if someone notices him or what.
Ryze just appears behind the group and says, "Yes, indeed, they shouldn't be here."
Exactly. Pharaoh's going to have completely not noticed that not only that Ryze is back, that Ryze ever left.
The Mishasi rubbing his chin and just asked to the party, like, do you know what they are?
I just said they're invaders. They are creatures from another realm.
What's
It,
it?
it is a place from where Malekith is. Ah,
I do not know which
reuniting
realm.
forces.
These are creatures that do not belong in this world. And if they cannot be returned, they must be purged.
Yes, I wish we could do something right here, right now to stop this. But unfortunately, I don't know.
Stop this, we destroy the gate.
I don't think that would work.
And Drakan, you can see directly across from you, and your eyes lock as you see each other. You see the succubus Drakar. She's like looking straight at you, and she kind of flickers into transparency in and out before kind of like disappearing from sight again.
Oh, we're on the right track either way, so we should probably just keep going.
Well, Ricard, as soon as there's enough space for Ricardo to get round Durham, he's going to charge to try and destroy the gate.
Just charge at the massive, like 100-foot high obsidian pillars.
Yeah, he's going to try and find a way to destroy them.
Stabs his rapier into one brick and it just collapses.
Hey, if it works.
Prefer to defend yourself, and just like slaps his rapier against the obsidian.
He'll pierce it in, and then he would pray to the goddess to send her energy down through him to the entrench.
This will not work, Ricardo. We should not announce our presence here. We should be cautious.
We cannot allow this affront to nature to continue.
Instead of destroying the gate, why don't you just try to kill whoever's like operating it?
Who do you say is operating this gate then, huh?
And
Okay.
as Ricardo says that, Drakan and Salazar take a pain each as this searing tinnitus migraine surges through your brain from the rear of your mind.
And it is.
It's this high-pitched tinnitus sound, and as that happens, all of the Ratkin, the ones climbing these great chains and ropes and ladders up into the stalactite in the sky, all the ones coming up the stairs, all the ones going across the platforms carrying these baskets and rocks, just drop what they're doing, and dozens of them fall out of the sky as they fall off what they were climbing and splat to the ground and die, but others drop what they're doing and they all turn to face you.
I'm assuming I'm gonna be in a lot of pain, but as I'm in a lot of pain, I'm gonna say probably who's ever controlling them.
They know we're here now.
Salazar will fall to the ground.
To do anything or just fall to the ground?
He just loses his footing.
Sure. Yes, they'll turn to you, and then they'll start to shamble towards you. Slowly at first, but picking up speed as they go.
How many of them?
Altogether, probably close to 100.
This is not the time to pick a fight. We have our mission.
Isn't our mission through that thing?
No, we should get to Karaklak.
Our
There
enemies
is
do
no
not
point.
lay.
Two of them
Well,
just
head-
confused. Like I thought you said Malekith was through there.
Our enemies are here. One of them is nearby.
This is
Sorry,
just
my
a
friend,
game.
but although Malekith may be through that gate, we are not capable of defeating him.
We should be smart about what fight we are picking. We don't have much time. We should go to Karaklak. That's where the reckoning will happen. But we cannot close the gate. We don't have resources and magic at disposal. We can only lose our lives here.
And
If we do
Drakan,
not close this.
on you go.
Sorry. But if we cannot close this gate now, these reinforcements will demolish us at Karaklak.
Drakan and Salazar hear the voice in their mind, yelling, booming at them from inside their own heads. You will not stop my ritual. You will not prevent the gate from opening.
Pretty sure we need to be here.
And just as coincidental time as you hear that, Ricardo said, "We must close that gate. That is why we are here."
I'm gonna be with Salazar on the ground at this point.
No,
It's
we
on
can't stop it. We can't close the gate. The ritual must happen. Just like walking weakly towards the gate. Or crawling along the ground.
Step out of it, my friend.
Does two of them know where Karaklak is from here?
I mean, I think from what people have said so far in the journey, you'd have a rough idea of the direction, yes.
As Ryze notices something is happening with the two of you, he
Well,
asks
we're probably
if
holding our heads.
Well, I assume at this point we're both either squirming on the ground or Salazar is just trying to crawl towards the gate to do something.
well,
And I'd be on the ground.
Ryze goes to Salazar and calls him, asking what is happening.
The ritual, we can't stop it. It
What
has to
ritual?
happen.
What ritual? What are we talking about?
He just keeps
Can't open-
muttering and repeating the words he keeps hearing in his head.
You can't open a gate like this without a great ritual.
The first of the ratkin, who are now running at you on all fours, leaps into the air towards you all.
Two of them is going to haul the can back to his feet before they can approach, before they can get to him anyway.
Ricardo's going to just thrust his drawn rapier into the rat that's in the air before it even lands.
Sure, yeah, skewering the one that's in midair. Duradam, sweeps up Salazar and turns his back to him, and the rat just kind of like slams into the back of Duradam and starts like scratching and scrabbling at the rock.
Well, it's the can he was getting, because Ryze was 10 to Salazar.
Sorry, Trakan. And as you're oblivious, you're not going to see it. Never mind.
After I've skewered my rat, I'll grab the one that's on Duradam and throw it off the staircase.
Yeah, you just toss it off the staircase and it tumbles down into the magma pit below. Just like squeeze as it goes.
Feel like a. We buy buildings or something by chance still?
What's that?
We still buy buildings by chance, or like we out in the open?
So your stairway just kind of like comes out of the rock face of the mouth. But there will be like buildings and platforms carved in the obsidian and igneous rock all around you.
I guess I'll point at Dirt and I'll grab his attention and tell him like we need to get inside, so we're not gonna get surrounded here. And just be out in the open.
Well, alright.
He has me. He picked me up to my feet. I'm just gonna be leaning on him.
If they don't want us getting close to the gate, then either of them just like starts rushing off, like pushing through the rats to try and get to one of the buildings closer to the gate.
You're doing your patented
Yes.
American football
Rush
charge.
through. Of course.
You're doing the Terry Tate that office dash.
He's doing the Ogren Bull charge.
Yep,
So
so
he does second best, which is charging the feet.
forceful roll for Duradam, I guess.
Oh, 7.
Are you going on your own, or are you like carrying someone with you?
If
Be going with him.
the can's
Okay.
like hanging on to him, then yeah, he'll be holding him in one arm.
So you can choose to either drop Drakan as you charge through them, or Drakan can take another pain.
And totally dropped me, dude. Like I got myself at that point. As long as I'm on my feet.
Yeah, he'll be struggling to swipe them aside to clear a path for everyone else, and in doing so, the can just like falls out of his arm.
Sure, you're too busy swiping
Right there.
rats that you kind of like cast him aside at the same time as well. Sorry, Alex, you were saying something?
Are you just using him as like a battering ram to swing them away?
Well, my plan was to use Durden as a battering ram, and I was just gonna follow behind him.
Like, there's so many bodies flying about, he doesn't even notice he's dropped the can.
Sure. So you charge through them, and you go down the stairs, down ramps, round corners, straight up to the base structure of the gate itself. You can see the hundreds of demons above, a couple hundred feet in the air, just like streaming around a massive flock and then flying out south. And as you turn and look back, you see Drakan in the midst of this army of rats around him. So what do you want to do, Drakan?
Just gonna shadow step and keep following them.
Yeah, just as you're about to shadow. Well, how are you going to shadow step? You're like in the middle of an open area surrounded by the ratkin.
Well, what in the Vatkins, I'll be giving off shadows. Like I'm assuming
You
it's
probably need to
it's
get
smart
closer to them to use their shadow.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you can do it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're going to have to like avoid harm in order to do it. So give me
enough. Right, well,
a roll of some sort.
I don't know.
I'm just imagining he's surrounded by a horde of rats and they're all doing a jump attack as they like jump pile onto him. And he's going to use
just-
the shadow of the jumping pile on rats to
Yeah, he's like dive rolling into them.
Yeah, but so my thought would be to like slide into underneath one or something like that, like slide into one and then use the shadow to disappear.
I'm thinking of that scene like from 300 where they blot
I
out
just want to
the sun and jumping on him.
Okay, well, what do you think you should be rolling for this, Drakan?
Yeah, quick or I guess I'm just trying to follow him as fast as I can.
Yeah, let's go for a quick roll then.
I think you could also make an argument for flashy, but I doubt you've got.
2d6 plus 2. I'll do it in Discord, but I didn't know if you would see that or not. Six. Works. Last time it didn't work.
Why is that not working for other people? It works for me in there. And the permissions are set up so it should
wait.
work for everyone. I don't know why it doesn't work for everyone else.
Wait, did Drakan get booted from the Roll20? His name is not on the list that I've got.
I don't think it was
Well,
there.
like, everything was working, and then it said my HDMI cable quit working, like, as soon as I went to try to roll. No.
Have you got actual dice there you can use?
I mean, I could just put it in.
Someone else can roll.
Yeah, just roll from bird.
You got a 12.
That's a good way to do it. Okay. Yeah, so I guess they leap in the air to leap at you, just like from 360 degrees around you, probably like a dozen of them or so, and then you just like dive roll underneath them into their shadow, and then come out inside a building somewhere close. If you are looking back, Duradam, even though you're oblivious, you'll just see him and maybe just assume that he's been like enveloped by these rats. But then you see like a second Drakan, although it's one that looks more demonic, sort of standing off to the side of you, only a couple of meters away from you.
He just shouts to the other Drakan, like, how are the others faring?
And this Drakan turns to you. They're not robed like Drakan is. They look as if they're naked and they look female, and then they just kind of like flicker out of existence.
He just mutters to himself like unsociable gits, and then like charges back into the rats to try and help them through. So he's going to be like trying to make sure a path is cleared.
Doesn't
for
even notice that it's not.
Ryze and Salazar and the rest.
Okay, guys, so the rest of you see him like charge through all these rats, drop Drakan. You all see Drakan like, well, maybe not Ricardo, see Drakan like escape by shadow through them. But then you see Duradam turn around and charge back into the rats.
Ricardo. Not Ricardo. Ryze. Can you find the core to this ritual? Who is casting it? Where it's coming from?
Should I roll careful or something if I can sense some mana?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
some-
That sounds good. You're mana sensitive.
I had a mage site too, or wizard site, or whatever.
No modifier. So there's a lot of magic energy going on. There's a lot of like energies coming from things from different realms and the auras that are kind of like all around the place. But there is definitely like a reaching, like tendrils coming from up in this big stalactite, this rock in the sky. There's definitely like an energy coming down from that and then splitting off, and you can see it like linking to every single one of these ratkin on the ground. And you can see like a faint one linking to Salazar, who you're holding in your arms.
In that moment, Ryze looks at Ricardo. My God. It's still in progress. The ritual, it's not complete. I thought we were too late, but we still have a chance to stop this, Ricardo.
Good.
It's coming from up there, from this stalactite. Whatever is doing this, he is still busy. We should be quick.
Then we just need to get up there.
Get up there. Salazar, can you stand up?
I don't know. I don't know what's going. Where are we? What's happening?
There is no time, Salazar. If you can get into the lizard form, I will carry you. Ricardo, Durdam is making the way for us. We can count on that. And yeah, he will pick up Salazar if he turns into a lizard and take the opportunity to go through the opening.
Well, what's the voice in my head telling me to do now?
It's like cussing and just offering threats, like how dare you oppose the mighty Southron.
In the background, you just hear like that shithering and do them yelling and trying to thwart them aside. Like, come on!
Damn it, Drakan, where are you? And you're like picking up rats and throwing them aside in case he's hiding underneath them.
Oh no, he fought the other Drakan that disappeared with him.
Oh, right, okay.
Salazar, we need your friend. We need you to call Sherman.
Aren't we still underground though?
No, it's an open mouth volcano.
Then where's the stalactite coming from?
Jordan, can you roll defense for me?
I imagine stalactite's either an overhang or it's literally floating in the sky.
So I'm guessing it's bladed, and I count as trained now. So it's, I think, +2.
Your armor will work because they're all just like claws scratching at you.
Yeah, so 7.
As for the stalactite, I mean, it looks like it's coming from the cloud in the sky, but I mean, the cloud in the sky is all the smoke and ash and vapors rising out of the volcano, kind of like hitting around the base of the stalactite and spreading outwards across the sky. So maybe it is attached to something bigger above the cloud line, but you're not able to see that from where you are currently.
I guess I'll try to call Sherman. Just like a loud whistle.
Thank you, roll flashy for that.
All right.
Sorry, I'm desperately trying to find this for you. You got a 7, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to take a wound and then either pain or stress.
Right. So I'll just take bleeding heavily, and I'll take -1 for it, I suppose. Losing bleeding and bleeding heavily.
Yeah, and you just,
bleeding,
it's
but-
like a death from 1,000 cuts kind of scenario. They're just like chipping away at your exterior. And there's lots of little cracks starting to show. Little energies kind of seeping out. I imagine Salazar, I mean, do you like whistle for your shark?
Yeah.
Yeah, you whistle for him, and you just, in the distance across the platform, you just see this shark just kind of like throwing one rat up in the air and then like swallowing him in one go. And he comes like charging through them all, over the top of them towards you.
As he approaches, I'll just like jump up on his back and I guess should I grab one of the others and head to the stalactite?
Ricardo's going to, as soon as you're on Sherman's saddle, Ricardo's going to jump and grab onto the side of the saddle and hold on to with one leg on
A
Sherman's
harness,
back.
yeah.
And the hand on the harness, one leg just holding onto the back, other leg out in the air with sword in his
Yeah.
right hand.
I could picture it exactly, yeah.
It's like, no, to fly! Follow if you can, Ryze.
And Ryze will go through the rat and help Duridan to recover himself and give him a hand to charge through towards the stalactite.
As we're flying up, Ricardo's also going to try and bless his sword.
Oh, I imagine you just like swipe out and then like hold it in front of your face and
It's like, blessed to the goddess, smite either of such unclean creatures, banishing the evil. Big, long, massive speeches of the sword just glowing in the same like golden energy, golden pink hued energy that's surrounding me, just getting focused in there. And I'll put 1 mana into this. So add 1. So an 8.
okay, so that'll go off as intended.
What are the magic
Ow.
options again?
Oh fuck, not inspect. Dazed. Yeah, shall I take a pain and stress, -1 to next time, or expose yourself?
I'll say it disrupts my mana, so -1 to the next spell cast.
Salazar, do you have strong will as a trait?
No, that's why I was trying to stop them from stopping the ritual earlier.
Okay, so can you roll force for me if you wish to try and fight the commands that the voice is now issuing you?
Would I have a disadvantage?
I don't think so. No, because you're not like weak-minded or anything like that.
You're not on
You can see the sky. You can
Well, I
see
am.
the
I
sky.
am harrowed.
You what, sorry?
I am harrowed.
I no, I think you'll be fine. Just a regular roll.
Regular force for all.
Reminds me of when I wanted to leave expeditions on against the element because I always got bad results because I lost. Like, you sure I can't have a negative somehow?
So
I got a 6.
yeah, so this voice like starts commanding you now. Salazar says, "You will not come up here. You will not disturb my ritual. You will obey me, mortal. You will do as I command. You'll cast aside your compatriots. You will turn on them."
I will do as you command. You just, Ricardo just hears Salazar mutter and just reach out and pull out a pitch black sword that you've just somehow never noticed him having.
Salar, snap out of it!
I'm going to reach out. I'm gonna reach back and just swipe it and cut off Sherman's harness.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of sneaky. Unless maybe it's quick because you're trying to do it before Ricardo can do anything else.
I guess sneaky.
Yeah, give me a sneaky roll.
If he rolls bad, I'm going to try and parry it.
I mean, you can give him disadvantage by like reacting against it.
Yeah, I'll try and parry his blow.
Okay, roll another dice, Salazar, because you're gonna have disadvantage. So 4 minus 1 is going to be 3, plus 2 is a 5. Yes, you swipe.
Yes.
You get to swipe the void sword and snap. Break the harness, sever it, and you then, Ricardo, you successfully parry it with your blessed rapier.
Mm-hmm. It's like glowing gold with pink flakes.
Yeah, and it clashes, and there's like sparks and dark energy flies off the void blade as it scrapes against your rapier. And now the two of you are going to have a sword fight in the back of this shark.
As it's still at least flying up. At least not tilt the shark to change direction, at least.
Yeah.
Have out of it, my friend.
So Salazar will have that same sort of blank expression that Kraken had, a slight kind of greenish and violet sort of smoky glow behind his pupils if you're getting close to his face.
We're just having a sword fight on the. Well, we're both just standing up on the shark now.
Yes, as it flies up in the sky. Okay, Drakan, you are inside this building. It's pitch black. The floor is black. The rock that the building's made of is a very, very dark grey. It's barely illuminated in here, but that's not a problem for you with your vision. You can see Duradam outside through one of the archways, fighting a horde of rats. So what would you like to do?
I would probably be helping him from a distance since that's kind of my thing. So I guess I'll be trying to get their attention, tell them to come this way, and I'll be picking off at the end of the way.
Okay, so you're going to like go up a level or something so you can get a better angle and throw daggers then?
Walk up the building to get a little bit higher up.
Sure. And Ryze, your face shifting down to where Jordan was to help him as well.
Yes.
And as you do that, you can see like this massive demon where Drakan is. Just this big hulking shape with these kind of like spider legs gripping onto the side of the building, and it's just like spitting out daggers into the rats.
Do I even notice it's actually Drakan?
I think you would recognise the aura because you've seen it before, but the physical form does not look like him. And then standing on the bottom floor outside the building, you can see the succubus just standing there plain as day.
It isn't that seconds from the village.
Yes, the same one.
Well, first things first. I need to help Duridan, then get off to the building. I'm gonna fight with Duridan back to back, like we already did once before.
Do you want to give me a forceful roll with advantage?
And you said earlier we were to go towards the stalactite. Are we doing that, or are we going to the building?
Well, I understood that in order to get to the stalactite, we need to get to the building first, or did I understand something wrong?
I mean, it depends how you intend to get up there.
So if you can fly, you can just get up there. But for those of us who can't fly, we gotta lose the vacuum first.
Yeah, and there are lots of ropes and stuff that that's we're using, but I don't think they'd support doing them.
Yeah, I thought it's like we have to make a jump from the building to stalactite.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at quick 2, 1. That's only 1. Okay, can you roll a defense for me, please, Ryze?
Chainmail works.
Yes, it will work. Ouch. Okay, so you're going to take a wound, a pain, and a stress, Ryze. It's a brutal fight, it's an onslaught, you know, there's dozens and dozens of these rats coming at you, but Drakan, or the demon that might be Drakan, throwing out daggers and like striking them in the skull in the eye and killing them mid-air. Duradam is like casting them aside off the platform and into the magma, squishing them underfoot, and you're just like cutting them down 2 at a time with your blade. There's a great number of them, you're taking lots of bites and cuts and grazes from them, but you're able to like beat them down and until like it's just a mass of broken rat bodies laying all around you.
I'm crying out loudly in pain, drawing more of them, and I'm lashing out at Duradam that it's time to move to the building. We're gonna make a jump and lose them, and I'm gonna break my armor to avoid the wounds. I suppose so many cuts and claws from the rats just torn it off.
Yeah, it's just like hanging off of you, and you just like shake it off and throw the broken straps aside.
Yeah, and in that moment, I'm gonna hand Azrak's axe to Duradam, since he lost a weapon, right?
Duradam, like, he'll gesture for you to keep it for now. And just keep fighting through the horde with you until we can escape off the building.
I mean, you'll defeat the horde, you'll slay them all. It'll take you. It won't be quick, but you'll like bruise, crush, kill them all. The effort of the 3 of you together.
So, like, once it's clear enough, we'll do it, at least we'll look around to see if he can work out what's happening with the other 2.
So you're going to see a spider monster sitting on a wall.
Well, yeah, dude, you like see this massive like spider demon on the wall, and then it kind of like flickers, and then it's just Draken.
I even noticed myself changing. I was like, that's just from like an outside perspective looking at me.
I mean, there's the adrenaline of battle and everything that's going on with your senses. I mean, you just feel kind of like elated and pumped. But physically, no, you don't notice any difference.
Okay. I was waiting for Jordan to say something so I could be oblivious instead. Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, rather that, Duradam just finally goes like, good to have you back, Ryze. Like, she's really finally connected the dots.
Yes, it's good to be back with you two. Now, no time for chit-chat. Let's catch up with everybody else.
Do they just hear the clinking of swords above them?
Yeah, you just see like this shark high up in the cloud space, and these 2 figures standing on it, like dueling with their swords. So Ricardo, you know, when he like starts to duel with you on the shark, what'd you do?
I'm still hanging off the side of the shark, dueling him. It's like being as just flashy as ridiculous as possible. It's like,
Are you just trying to like disable them, like knock the sword out of his hand, or are you trying to actually pin him down, or what?
trying to like take the sword out of his hand, trying to disarm him.
Do you want to give me a flashy roll then, because of your fighting style?
Since it's duel, do I get advantage?
Yes, but possibly also disadvantage because you're like hanging from a harness.
Because I don't have swordsmanship, but I do have riding, so I'd be better at fighting you on the
Yeah,
shark.
I kind of balances out the fencing and the riding. and also the positions that you're kind of in, because he's sort of above you and more stable.
Okay.
That's the high ground.
He has
Nick.
Yeah,
That's
yes,
exactly
high ground.
what we're all thinking. Yeah. So +1 to this.
Oh.
Oh.
Does your background cover it?
Background is religious and cursed.
Yes, I guess not.
Oh, professional though. Won't you get one for professional?
I guess I'd block your rapier, and then also I would just put his foot on one of the shark's wings to push down, so it'll do a barrel roll to try to knock you off.
Yes, you're trying to disarm him. You fail to disarm him. He spins the shark around, causing you to lose your balance, and you start to fall through the air. There are numerous ladders and ropes and chains kind of like hanging down everywhere, and there's the stalactite surface itself.
I will grab onto the stab my blessed rapier into the stalactite itself, as well as use that to try and grab on to it.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm going to stab my rapier into the stalactite to slow my fall, and then draw a pickaxe from my adventuring gear and to stab that in to try and lock myself in place onto the wall.
Sure, do you want to roll defense for me?
Yeah, sure.
See what the exertion and the tumble kind of does to you.
Does armor, agile, kick in or anything?
Agile, certainly will.
Okay, so it's 10.
You can take either a pain or a stress.
I think the fall,
Yeah,
just like, freeze up for a moment or two, just like catch my breath as I've.
yeah, as you're like dangling hundreds of feet in the air.
Yep, with a blessed rapier pierced into and a pickaxe.
And if you fall into volcano.
Exactly, I'm like a long fall to my death, and I've like just avoided. I'm like, take a breather, take a breather, take a breather.
Imagine the camera's like looking down just like from above, and you can see all the illuminated lava at the bottom, and just a little rock that your foot kind of like goes to step on, falls away, and tumbles into it below.
I thought you were meaning looking down from Salazar's point of view.
Well, that too.
It's like you can't see him because he's just like clutching the underside the stalactite. He's like, haha, I've won.
Right, I'm onto the stalactite. That's good enough. It's time to climb after a moment.
So you guys down below, what do you want to do now?
I guess see if there's any way to get up there. If we killed all the bats, like the getting to the building was to make it easier to fight the bats, but if we killed them all, then we could try to climb up. Too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you would have any problem with your spider climb ability. You could climb up the chains even, and then once you get onto the stalactite surface, you could just climb up that quite easily.
Like, I can shadow step someone, so if Ryze can get himself up there with his face step Ryze, then I could take Durden.
Yeah, so
Like failing that, Durden will search out like the sturdiest two chains and try and climb up between them.
okay, yeah, I don't want anyone to really roll this. It's going to be slow going, obviously, for Durdam, because that's a very difficult kind of climb. You do have the strength, but you've got the weight. Whatever they're attached to above, it's very secure and firm. It's not going to give way. Jacan's going to be able to get up there. It's barely an inconvenience. You could easily get up to where Ricardo is, even, if you want to try and help him out.
If Durden's making his own way up there, then yeah, I would help Ricardo.
And what would you, Ryze? Would you also just be choosing a chain or a ladder or something, just ascending that way?
Yeah, and if I can help myself with small pickaxe from my adventuring gear to pull out some kind of climbing assistance.
Yeah, just to help you with the the parts that aren't so easy to just like climb straight up with the chain or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. Yous are probably like nervous as you go about this massive swarm of demonic imps that are just like pouring out of this gateway. But there's so many of them, and they're just, whatever they're doing, they have like a set mission, a destination in mind, and they're not paying any attention to what's going on in the ground or that around them. I mean, if they wanted to at any time, they could turn on you and probably tear you all to shreds. But they are dead set on going wherever they're going, and they're just flying south constantly and ignoring everything else. You're able to like climb up, but as you're climbing up, Salazar on his shark kind of like rounds in the sky, and Salazar, the command is still coming to you. Cut them down, do not allow them to ascend. They must not stop the ritual.
Cut them down, and he just mutters that. And just who's climbing the chains? You said Ryze and Duradan are.
Yeah, Ryze and Durden are climbing the chains.
He's gonna try to go towards them and start chopping chains.
Sure. And you have the sword that like cuts through pretty much anything, so it will slide through those chains like hot butter. I mean, is Durdan even going to see this? Does someone has to shout it to him?
Even if you saw it, he wouldn't realize that Salazar is doing something bad.
Yeah, up to this point, Ryze is still not aware, but as he sees he's pulling out a sword and trying to cut the chains, Ryze is shouting, Salazar, what are you doing?
Salazar like slices your chain, Ryze, and you just like sink your pickaxe into the rock and the stalactite to stop yourself from like tumbling down with the rest of the chain.
Good thing I picked out a pickaxe from my adventuring gear.
At that point, Salazar is just gonna put his hand on Sherman's head and just whisper to him, devour them all, and just jump off Sherman to grab onto one of the chains.
Yep. Sherman makes a nosedive straight towards Duradam, who's like hanging between two thick chains.
I will try to intervene. As I see Sherman going for Duridam, I'm going to use my telekinesis to drop him off balance, or use it to slam him into the stalactite.
Okay, give me a roll. No, you're magical and Salazar is not, correct?
But Sherman... Oh wait, no. Would Sherman be magical?
No, he's not magical. He just flies. It's science. Okay, so Sherman is going to take a serious wound. Oh wait, sorry, is that right? That's not right. He'll take a wound. And then Salazar, you can make a move with either yourself or Sherman.
You slam him into the stalactite. He starts bleeding from just slamming into it. But then you just start hearing a chewing noise from the stalactite. And you see a strange shark-shaped hole in it.
Oh yeah, because he's
As
got
though
a
something's
stomach.
eating through it.
Yes, you slam him into the rock, Ryze, and then the shark turns around and just starts to like chow into the rock face. And disappears inside it as he worms his way through it. And sliding down the chain comes Salazar.
Ryze Ryze will shout again to Salazar that what the hell he's doing.
You cannot interfere. And he's gonna jump off the chain and kick towards still like a flying jump kick towards Ryze.
And we're going to react with Ryze.
Well, hell, I'm clinging with my pickaxe. I'm thinking something I could do in this position.
I'll give you a minute to think, because my wife is bugging me to fix something for her. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
I think this is going well.
I'm sure you do.
It's neat.
Is the man possessed trying to kill us all? Yes, it's all going well.
If you can't think of anything, Ryze, I could try to help you with my magic too.
Well, I imagine he's still kind of fighting it. He hasn't pulled out his bow yet to just shoot you guys off.
I'm wondering why would he try to do a jumping kick? Oh yes, yeah, you have chains, right? You can do that without falling into volcano.
I mean, yeah, he can just turn into a lizard if he misses and fly off.
Yeah, maybe that could be a smart idea to drop him off the chains and he would be at the ground level. He can't actually fly, so yeah, but still he has Sherman.
Yeah, Sherman is the real problem here. Sherman was like, if he just resisted the mind control, be up top of the stalactite fighting.
Salazar,
Already.
I mean.
Yeah, Salazar failed the mind control.
Okay, right, so what do you want to do?
So if he is hanging off the chains and going for a jump kick, I'm gonna let go, and that as he's going for me, I'm gonna try to grab his leg and cling to him.
Okay, so I kind of dodge, but twist and grab at the same time.
Yes.
And you're probably like, what, 50 feet in the air at least at this point? Like
Yeah.
30 meters or something like that.
Above volcano.
Okay, I think flashy sounds reasonable.
Okay.
I think this is going to be the flashiest segment we've ever done.
Well, either someone is going to take a stress here, or someone is going to drop something valuable, either you, Ryze, or Salazar.
Can I get a? Could I have I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
What if at the moment I'm gonna kick him and he drops off, the place he was holding on to starts breaking, and at that moment Sherman jumps out, trying to bite Ryze, but instead he bites me since I'm there now.
Okay, so you want to hurt yourself, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you want to roll your defense against yourself then? Definitely of equal power.
Yeah, he's equal power to a sky shark. I love it.
Salazar is just so suicidal.
I know. Everything he does. Just...
I guess since Sherman's not under mind control, as soon as he tries to bite me, he realizes who he's biting.
You'll take a pain or a stress. So I imagine either you're going to take a pain or he's going to take a stress.
I'll take I'm bleeding, so -1 forward.
Sure. So he like bites into you, causing a nasty wound. And Ryze is kind of leapt off and like grabbed onto your leg, and now the two of you dangling from this chain. I imagine the surge of pain from the bite probably like snaps you out of whatever was controlling you, and it kind of makes you realize like what the fuck are you doing?
Where am I? I'm just gonna like reach over and just punch Sherman's nose to have him let go of me. Don't bite me. Look down at my leg and just like, Ryze, what are you doing? I thought weren't we just in the Underdark?
It seems you were possessed.
You both hear like a clinking of one of the other chains next to you, and you can both see the succubus pulling her way up the chain past you, followed shortly by Duradam.
The succubus again. She's here. We have to catch her up.
Drukan, I didn't know you were I didn't know you were a woman. This has never seen Drukan out of his robes and stuff, so he just assumes this is Drukan.
This is succubus from the village. She possessed the whole village.
Well, yeah, but Salazar never saw the succubus, and he left the village almost as soon as they got there. Remember?
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, she was responsible for the possession of village.
Should we stop her from getting to the top then?
Yes.
Alright, get off my leg first.
So she's on a different set of chains, but she is like on this one of the same chains that Duradam is using. She's just way ahead of him because he's very slow getting up there.
I guess we'll have Sherman get out of the finish getting out of the stalactite and jump and get on his back, and pull Ryze onto his back as well.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. Dracan at this time is you've ascended up the chains, and I assume you're just gonna like let and then just climb up the stalactite face itself as easily as a spider would.
Right.
Is
you
Drakan going to help Ricardo up?
Yeah, I was gonna stop and help Ricardo out.
It's the first nice thing Drakan's ever done for Ricardo.
Ricardo, you
That you
see...
know.
Sorry, here you go.
I did that he knows of.
And Ricardo, at this point, you just see this big, massive, demonic spider demon creature come crawling across the face of the stalactite towards you.
He's so oblivious. He's just climbing up. And he's not noticing the spider creature beneath him. And then as it comes and it helps him like get up to the top and over the edge. I imagine it like throws him over the cusp at the edge because it's the hardest bit. It like Ricardo just rolls over the top and is like, thank you for the assist, my good friend. You are a very strange-looking fellow.
Well, you turn around and he's like hulking 3 times the size of you.
Yep. Hey, Ricardo's learned never to judge a book by its cover. It's like it helped him get up the top. Can I ask for your name, my good friend?
Do you not find demons abhorrent, though?
Then it's like if there's like I don't know if it's a full demon or half demon or anything like that.
Well, when you look at him just now, he looks like a full demon. You might easily have thought he just came out of the gate with the other demons.
So, did you drop? That's when I'll redraw the blessed rapier. So, did you come out of the gate with the other ones? Oh, you've been
Look
here.
at 'em.
Are you one of the orchestrators of this ritual?
Look at you like you're crazy. Like I came out from the tunnel with the rest of you guys.
Ratan? Is that you?
Who else would it be?
There's like an uncomfortable flickering with your vision, and then Drakan just looks like Drakan again.
It seems the demonic energy in you has become unstable. You are starting to transmogrify into, like, more demonic creatures.
Just for
Well,
Demonic
my hand.
form.
sorry, just for a second, Drakan, you can see the bright aura that Ryze always sees around Ricardo. The kind of pinky white light just like sparkling off him in waves, and it's all around him, and it's blinding you for a second, and it's gone.
Yeah, 'cause it's like enormous. It's reaching up to the sky.
Yes.
It's like-
You're turning pink. What we can do about
Pink.
that right now?
that is the aura of my goddess. Thank you for the assist, my good friend. Now,
Killers should
time
be
we
here
end
soon.
this.
Because I'm assuming I
Yes.
don't know anything about Sermon attacking them.
No, I don't think you would have seen that when you're too busy climbing.
Right, so I'm gonna say, well, the others are right behind me. They should be up here soon.
Excellent. We must stop this ritual as soon as possible. Come, let's go. We'll take the lead.
Okay, so you guys that are still climbing up, or flying on the shark, what are you doing? Are you?
I guess should we get to the top first and get the succubus when she reaches the top? Since she's on the same chain as Durden.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be smart if we get ahead of her and then catch her.
Okay, so you two, spiral upwards on the shark, flying upwards through the gases and the clouds, around the edge of the island that's floating up in the sky, and come across onto the top of it, and it's a barren, rocky landscape, just flat out. And you can see these big, massive anchors where the chains have been like sunk into the rock to hold them steady. And use like weight. Can you both roll forceful for me? That's excellent. So, Ryze, I mean, you seem to have completely forgotten the effect that this succubus had on you last time you were close to her. And as she approaches, you can feel yourself overcome with that feeling once more of familiarity and love and lust. You can feel yourself just like enraptured by her, and as she like clambers over the side, what Salazar sees is this massive, hulking, red, but yet slender demon with glowing yellow eyes. And all manner of like appendages and genitals and orifices. But for you, it's just like the most seductive and beautiful being you've ever seen. Kind of like comes climbing over the edge. And it's all you can do to resist, running over and embracing her immediately. For you, Salazar, you kind of get this uneasy, unnerving feeling of kind of like you want to just like serve her, but you just went through an experience like this already in your mind, and you're able to kind of like push those thoughts off to the side. Although you're not really sure if she's really, a dangerous being that you want to harm.
I'll have my weapon ready, but I'm not going to attack her.
Yeah, and you look to Ryze, and you can see Ryze just standing there.
And I'm telling her that it's dangerous here. I should protect her.
Yeah, she looks a little surprised that you are even like talking to her. And then her image kind of like flickers, and then she looks much more like the succubus you saw before, just as kind of very feminine humanoid form, regular size, but covered in a sort of demonic scale, except for her forearms and hands, which are human. And she just kind of like flutters the eyelashes at you, Ryze. Says, "Why, thank you, my great savior. I'm so glad you're here to protect me."
Yes, we must stop the ritual. Like I said, it's too dangerous for you to be here. You should escape this. I will protect you.
Yes, you're quite right. I will run and hide.
Salazar's gonna like confusedly like just like scratch his head and look between the two of them.
But you boys... Sorry, you go.
And then I'm just gonna. Does Ryze have like a blank look in his eye, or does he have like anything about him that seems more different than normal?
If anything, he just got a lot more colour in his face than usual.
I'm guessing because Ryze doesn't show very much emotion most of the time. Bill.
Well, yeah, Ryze is most of the time distant. Worried, but I think he's flushing now, and he's completely in adoration.
Oh wait, he did say that she's a succubus, right?
He did say that to you, yes.
Salazar's gonna punch Ryze.
Ryze, take a pain. And you kind of momentarily snap out of your admiration list.
Isn't it just Salazar attacking all his teammates?
That's not attack the succubus. I'm gonna punch Ryze instead.
Wait, you plunge me with what?
I'll punch
His-
you. It's
His
this.
hand.
Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna take. Yeah, I lose my footing because I was holding her hands in admiration, and I'm gently slammed into the wall from his punch, and I see her for what she is.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen stars for a second, and you kind of just like lose your footing. She realizes, she's like, "Oh, don't you boys fight over me," and then she runs away towards a bunch of like boulders and rocks.
I'll try to pull out my arrow, my bow and arrow, and try to get her, but I'm guessing she disappears before I can get a shot off.
Roll quick for me.
Alright.
I'm not going to be too cheesy and say that she just disappears before you get a shot off. Yeah, you fire the arrow straight and true, and it sinks into her shoulder. You hear like a screech of pain, and as she falls, she kind of flickers and disappears.
Cursed demons trying to stop us. Ryze, should we wait for the others?
I don't know even where are they. Can we see them?
You can definitely hear the rhythm coming up.
Yes, then I would wait for the others.
You can probably see the others. I don't know, man. There's a lot of gas and cloud and mist up here. The landscape itself is quite barren and featureless, apart from rocks and such sort of dips in the landscape. But in the center of this massive island that you're on, between all the sort of ash and grainy rocks, there looks to be like some sort of crumbling architecture, square set. It looks like some sort of like entranceway, just like sticking out of the ground. And I think Dracan and Ricardo, from you guys where you are as well, you'll be able to see it. And maybe like between the two sets of you can both see Duradam as he comes over the top.
Well, Drakan and I arrived first and we were heading there anyway, so we're probably closer to it than the rest yet.
Ricardo's first instinct was, let's go stop it. So he just walked towards it and I just followed.
Yeah, he's not even walking because he knows we've got to do this quick, so he's running towards it.
Salazar, you mentioned before the deity Amon, the living god from the celestial plane. What kind of, how is he depicted, or she, how are they depicted normally in artwork?
They're just like a normal person, but with like a lizard-like head and giant reptilian wings. It's basically just a dragon in human form that didn't want to become fully human.
Sure. You will see a statue of this figure, probably twice the size of yourself, but the head has fallen off and is lying at the feet of the statue. And it itself is like carved out of, probably not carved out of obsidian, but carved out of like a volcanic rock.
He's gonna just like collapse to his knees in front of it and just look around to see if this is a sky island.
This is very definitely a sky island that's floating above this volcano. But there doesn't seem to be anything living here. There's no other suggestion of like structures, architecture, or dwellings up here. But someone built this statue here, near this other structure that's sitting in the centre of it. And as any of you approach this other structure, you can see that it is the entrance to a stairway that leads down into the interior of the island. It's a very finely crafted, ornate architecture, which you recognise from the city you saw in the jungle previously. And all over the front of it, there are carvings of this lizard-headed god.
Ricardo will just be completely oblivious to all of that as he's just trying to find the ritual site.
Yeah, so for you, you just find like a stairway.
Yep. Stairway, walk down it, keep following it.
Regroup and hold together. Salazar, why are you on the ground again? Is it happening again in your head?
Who could have done this?
Who could have done what?
Just wave my arm at the statue.
You recognize this?
It's Amon. This must have been one of his temples.
I'm not familiar with Amon.
He's a dragon who came to our land thousands of years ago.
So this must have been the place of worship, or something like it.
We have to go in and see who's defacing his temple even further.
I agree. Let's all stick together.
Your dam will instantly recognise as well the architecture and the symbols, or the type of writing from the airship that you were controlling previously. It is definitely the same language that has been scripted in the hieroglyphs or alongside the hieroglyphs as you descend down the stairway.
But I take it he isn't learned enough to know what any of it is. He just recognises all the shapes.
Yeah, you recognise it's the same language, the same style. The hieroglyphs themselves depict this dragon god, or semi-dragon, semi-man god, riding a massive worm creature, and he seems to be riding it through the cloud line. And it seems to depict him, like reaching out with one hand, and the land around him like rising up into the sky. And as you descend the stairway, you can hear the familiar skittering of the ratkin. In separate chambers off to the sides of the stairway as you descend, they're softly illuminated by sort of blue flames. And you can see the ratkin taking the ore that they were carrying, or the other ones were carrying, and they're like neatly arranging it into storerooms. And some of them are taken out of those storerooms and are refining it with a hammer and chisel, knocking off bits of rock, and then others are kind of like cleaning and polishing it.
Are there doors to those rooms, those areas?
Like stone doors that have been like moved to the side, yes.
Oh. Probably too hard to push and close a stone door.
Well, actually, they're big stone rectangular ones with a large metallic ring handle. And if you were to try one, it very easily just kind of like swings as if it's perfectly balanced.
Oh, I'm just going to close every door the rats are the room they're in, and then barricade the door. Like,
with what?
As in, like, use like rocks and rock. If it's a sliding kind of mechanism, like block in the slide so they can't easily get out.
Or do you mean like just jam it in the little gaps in the door kind of thing?
Yeah, just jam the doors just to delay them escaping.
Give me a clever roll.
Hopefully it's not -1.
It'll hold.
Well, I might have -1 just yet.
All right.
No, 0. 0 for clever.
Yeah, I mean, it will hold for a while. With effort and time, they will get out of there. But for now, temporarily, it will hold firm.
Just in case when we go through this, the whatever's controlling them was just going to send another horde of rats at us. It's like, give us a bit of time. And that also gives time for the rest to catch up to Ricardo, who's been running ahead.
And when you reach them, Dracan will look normal to everyone. Or as close to normal as he normally looks.
My friends, perfect timing. The great door awaits.
No one has anything to tell anyone.
Time for a revelation.
Yes.
By the way,
I've barricaded some rats in the rooms. Make it a little harder for them to scurry after us.
it can buy us some time. That was a good thing to do. By the way, we have unexpected visitor, Ricardo, who you might be interested in. The succubus from the village. She is here as well.
I just notices like there's a dark kind of fluctuation in the golden pinky aura that's coming off Ricardo. The mention of the succubus. If I see it again, I'll make sure to put it down this time.
Yes, but it happened again. When Salazar hit her with the arrow, she disappeared again, but I'm sure she is here. But I don't know her agenda, what she is after, or who is she working for. But whoever is doing the ritual, he must be stopped.
Always assume the worst with a creature of the such. Probably aiding this foul ritual.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's just trying to get to Hypno.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you, Drac, because of the big loud fan noise.
It said she's just trying to get to Hypnos. Or Hypnos, or how you
That is
pronounce it.
correct. Sorry, I was moving the fan away from. Yes, that is what I said.
You believe she's working with Hypnos?
More like she wants to be Hypnos.
I'm very certain. Is there something you're not telling us, Dracan?
Can other people become Hypnos? Is that a title?
Who exactly is Hypnos?
Or Durden. It was a figure of speech, is what I meant, Durden. She wants to be like Hypnos, not be Hypnos.
Oh, I see.
But who is Hypnos?
Hell
He's
if
a
I know.
demon. He is a demon.
Servant
One of the great
Malak.
generals of Malekith. One of the foul creatures that allied together to bring forth this apocalypse, as we are now suffering. And it is our duty to smite the foul creature that is Hypnos. That is our quest.
I thought Malekith was the one who was in the south. We had heard he'd led an uprising against the oppressive empire to free it.
There are many stories with Malekith and Hypnos. But Malekith is not fully awakened yet, and that is to our great blessing. Because once that day comes, if we are not prepared, the world shall be doomed.
You know, realizing this is a temple to his god, can Salazar recognize any of the writing?
Yeah, I mean, you saw the writing previously at the temple, the city, and the jungle, and the airship that you were on. So I don't think it's something you can read, but maybe now, in this setting, some of the sigils, some of the runes, on their own, you recognise them because they're like holy sigils of Ammon. So while it's not enough for you to like read the language, you know like certain words that appear.
So, like, drawing a connection, he'll just like. Is there anything that it looks like that looks like any of the things from the city? The crystals that controlled anything?
Yeah, you pick up one of the refined metallic ores that were being worked by the Ratkin, and it bears a similarity to what you saw before. In fact, it looks very similar to some of the things that you saw in the bowels of the airship that you were on.
Ryze, does this look familiar to you?
It looks familiar, but nothing more than that. It looks like I've seen something like it in the previous temple, where we faced off the basilisk.
I wonder. I'm gonna hand here, Durdan. Take this.
Aye, if you say so. And he just takes it off him.
So Jodam's usually this kind of like blue energy, am I right? The magic mana that kind of like holds all your rock form together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of, he instantly like glows brighter to almost like a bright white.
And does it do anything to him? Does it feel anything?
You feel refreshed. In fact, it's like drinking a mana potion. Roll 1d4 and heal that many wounds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 1 wound, and you restore all your pain.
They just kind of flex their shoulders and it's like, oh, thanks, that helped a lot. Just like drops the rock. What was that?
I was going to say, as he's like holding it and it glows brighter, you can all see like the massive hieroglyph directly behind him is an image of a construct that looks exactly like Duradam.
The rhythm. This looks like you. Turn around.
And he does so.
It looks very familiar to your like shape, how you're depicted. The runes are different, but definitely, you know, the shape that's been etched. And all around them are little kind of, they might be interpreted as dwarf kind of creatures, but they have that kind of, you saw them in the city before, they're depicted as having like pointier features, their chins, their nose, their ears. But there's been drawn like 6 on one side and 6 on the other side of this Duradam lookalike.
Wait, I don't understand. The dwarves live up here? I don't think I've heard of Ammon before.
I don't think that is you, my friend. I think this is where the dwarves either found a version of you or were inspired to make you. That's probably your ancestor from your non-dwarven side.
What is it for? If I'm a key, then does
The
this
dwarves, you are a key. But to what, we do not know. That is why we go to Karaglak to find out. First, time is of the essence, my friends. This ritual must be stopped before it's completed.
Right. But before we go, the rhythm. And Ryze pulls out the axe again. He faces Duridan. Duridan. This axe was wielded by my brother. He was the last remaining dwarvish warden. And dwarves have always been the proud members of the realm wardens. We are facing the extinction. I want you to carry his axe. You are a dwarf like any other. No matter your origin. May Azrak's power be with you. Here, take the axe. You are the one who should carry it.
But Ryze, wasn't he kin to you? Perhaps even more than to me?
He might be, but he's gone now. In the worst place he could go, to the void. But you see, we realm wardens, we are soul-bound, usually to our weapons or important artifacts. And this is his axe. It may hold a power which can assist you. And when all of this is over, Duridan, maybe we would consider joining the realm wardens. You carry every trait that we look for.
two of them just pauses and then finally reaches his hand out. It says, I'll consider it. That I can't do that ghost thing you do, though.
Well, of course, there is initiation and a process of you becoming official member of the Wardens. But for now, consider this as an invitation. And I don't know the true power of this axe, but Azrak was... He was a fierce fighter. He was a real dwarf. You deserve this axe. Wield it proudly in the name of the dwarves.
Like, as his hand closes around it, he just nods and then says, I guess this makes us half-brothers, and kind of chuckles.
Might be so.
As
Well, this...
sorry, go.
Yeah, I just want to say, this is dwarvish heritage. You deserve it. Yes.
So as Duradam takes the axe from Ryze, Drakan, you're like struck, kind of like fear, like just shoots through your body. You recognize this scene, and you remember another eventual fate that you saw when you spent that night looking through the different fates that you could see for yourself. And it's Duradam like decapitating you while Ryze holds you pinned down on the ground, and he decapitates you with this axe. You're muted.
Drax getting like shocked with this like revelatory vision. Ricardo's going to say to everyone, we are more than brothers at this point. We are comrades in this fight. Come, let us end this ritual.
Did you hear what I said to Drac? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that though.
Okay, cool. So I guess you descend the stairway, unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
They can talk as they go, so.
Yeah, Salazar would just be looking around at the symbols as we walk down to see if he can find some kind of defense in the temple.
Okay, why didn't you give me a clever roll then? I hope everyone's marking XP for all the 6s earlier. No defenses, but you do determine that this isn't a temple. This isn't a place of worship. This seems to be a library of some sort. Perhaps like an early version of a library.
But I'm guessing we don't see any scrolls or books or anything.
No, nothing like that. As you descend lower down, you find more ratkin, and again they just don't pay you any attention. But you do find some, and they're taking the little polished metallic stones and just setting up neatly in rows.
I'll just keep locking them in rooms, any rooms they're in. And then
Yes, until you get to a large spherical kind of chamber. And there are two other spherical chambers on either side. And in those, there's like a soft, glowing blue energy very similar to Duradam's. And around these lights are laid out in a circle are more of these polished metallic stones. I don't want to say it's not humming, but there's a kind of feeling of sort of static in the air as you enter this chamber. And it's quite cavernous. Yes, and it very much reminds you of the interior of the airship you were in before, right down to in the centre of the room. You can see like large flat stones laid out like panels that are on supported legs. And someone who is much shorter than any of you could probably stand there and operate this thing, much in the way that the airship was operated. And on the far side of the room, where there is a large door which is sealed shut, it's covered in brass etchings. And then on either side of that door are two large rock statues of Duradam, just slightly larger than he is.
Two of them just approaches one of the statues and is kind of tapping at it to see if it moves.
Okay, it doesn't move.
Duradam, could you try this panel here? It looks similar to the control deck on the airship.
Now, you said there were several panels, right? Is there any distinction between them, or?
There's like a larger one in the central room, and there's a couple other ones laid out in symmetrical patterns either side of it. But as you turn to respond to Ricardo, you step away from the statue you just tapped, and everyone else can see that statue light up with a kind of orange energy, and it like stands up and steps out away from the wall.
Ricardo's currently studying the pedestal. He asked Duradam to come over so he doesn't notice.
Does the statue say anything?
No, it's completely silent, but it raises its arms up as if it's going to bring down like a crushing blow on top of Duradam.
Just gonna keep my distance.
I'm gonna shout, "Stop!"
Can I try to remember what the language, how it's spoken or something? Because I'm guessing they would still speak the similar language on the Sky Islands.
Some sort of dialect, yeah? What are you yelling at it?
Just halt.
Yeah, I mean, you can shout it. It's not going to listen to your words, and it's going to slam its fist down on top of Duradam's head. Duradam, do you want to roll defense? Your arm won't do anything.
Alright. Does pain as gain apply to defensive ones as well?
Sure, why not?
Oh. Well, I failed anyway.
Okay, so you're going to take a wound and then either pain or stress.
Right, I'll take wound won't heal, and I'll take lose your fitting opposition.
I'm sure. So
It's
this,
the first time Duradam's been hit by something of equal mass to him like that.
yeah, and it slams down on the top of your head and just it sends a big crack down the center of your body, and you just hit the ground.
Ricardo will hear the thudding noise, turn his head up, and see Duradam fall down.
And you see a slightly larger Duradam with a orange energy kind of holding these bits together, standing over Duradam who's on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Ricardo's going to immediately draw his rapier and charge towards the fake Duradam in his eyes.
Okay. Your intention being to what?
Durdam, does he have like eye sockets kind of things? Eye holes?
The way I imagined it was he has like runes where his eyes should be, which like fulfill a similar function.
Yeah, well, Ricardo's going to run up, jump into the air, and try and pierce his rapier right into the runes where Durdam's the
With the
fake
eyes
Durdam's
be,
eye.
yeah. And
Yeah.
forceful, I think.
No bonus.
Do we think Jordan is more powerful than you? Because you're
My
both,
weapon is still
you're
is blessed.
yeah, you're divine. Your weapon's divine. He's magical, I believe. So I think they kind of equal each other.
Mm.
Yeah, sure. So your blessed sword plunges into the spot where the rune is, and you know your sword like sticks into the rock, and the creature like grabs your sword and just like plucks it out. Are you still holding the sword at this point?
Yeah, I'll still hold the rapier. Well, if he grabs onto the rapier, I'll drop it and drop to the ground.
Sure. You drop the ground. It like pulls the sword out of its eye and just like hurls it across the room, and your weapon. Well, you've got another rapier, don't you?
Yeah, I was carried to.
Yeah. So you like just kind of like fall to your feet in front of it. And then the creature will, you know, move its fist as if it's going to just like pound you as well.
I will quickly jump to the side. There's only runes where the eyes are. There are other runes on this thing.
It's like there are runes over his body, and there are like it's like, focuses of like, his different sensations. They're more like clustered. It's like at his fingertips, he'd have more of a touch and things like that.
Any on like the legs or anything?
Yeah, there'll be like lines or patterns of them just scattered around.
I'll draw my second rapier that's not blessed and try and cut like the rune lines on one of its legs, like behind the knee area.
Give me a quick roll for that one then.
And
Plus one.
Ryze is gonna sneak up behind and cut the other knee.
Salazar will see what's going on and then just launch an arrow towards its eye rune.
The intact eye rune or the smashed eye rune?
The one where it's already damaged, to see if it can do more damage.
Okay, so you're going to duck down, shoot through his legs, try to cut it at the knee basically. The thing kind of like loses its footing as it's the energy holding like the parts of the leg together just momentarily kind of like separates, and it causes it to kind of like fall down on one leg onto the ground. It loses its footing. Ryze, you kind of, this gives you opportunity to get behind it, and Salazar, you like cock an arrow, I guess.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, Ryze?
As he's on the ground, I'm gonna pierce his chest.
Do you want to roll sneaky for that one?
Yeah. Do I have a advantage since he's surrounded and on the ground?
Because he's outnumbered me, well, yeah. Salazar, are you like this? Is this like a quick shot, or are you taking your time to do it carefully?
I'll do it carefully.
Okay, give me a careful roll for that one. Are you trying to like sever something, Ryze, or are you just like plunging into it?
Probably aiming for power core or heart or whatever could be in his chest. if it has any core at all.
Do you have like a core to your dam, or is it just sort of universal because of the runes?
I mean, I imagine most of the power would be derived from like the core of his body, even if there wasn't a particular locus of it.
Do you think you probably like a master rune that's kind of like signifies like a heart power center kind of thing?
I quite like the sound of that. So yeah, maybe there's one like representing life or something like that.
Sure, yeah. So Ryze, you're gonna like plunge your sword into the center of it to this kind of like rune that you've noticed on Jordan before, which you kind of guess is like the center, the core of the power, which kind of like helps hold it all together. And at the same time, Salazar, like, are you what part are you aiming for, Salazar? Are you aiming for the same kind of area?
I was aiming for the eye that Ricardo already smashed.
Okay, to just like hammer on the injury that already exists.
Yeah.
Sure. So you're gonna hit that in the head exactly the same time as Ryze kind of like sinks into the power core. The power core kind of like you manage to sever the connections of the energy holding it together, almost like you're kind of like breaking the spell. And all the rocks sort of like lose their formation and like tumble and fall to the ground in a pile. At the same time as Salazar's arrow just kind of like sinks into the head one. And that kind of like causes that head rock to just sort of like spin off to the side and fall by the wayside of the chamber. And as that kind of like tumbles to the one side, to the other sentinel statue that was standing on the opposite side of the door, and it also kind of like powers up and rises and steps out from the wall.
Oh, good. There's another one.
Ricardo's going to kneel down to Durham, grab him by the head. Durham! Durham, wake up! Speak to me! Durham!
Them like feeling some like approximation of dizzy finally like shakes off and tries to like stumble back to his feet. I'm fine. Watch out for whatever that was.
Ah, thank goodness, my friend. Thank goodness. Thank the goddess herself. Bless the goddess. Oh.
And Jacan, can you roll forceful for me?
Sure, I suppose.
You're going to hear that voice again, incessant and loud and commanding in your head. It's going to say, "You must stop the interlopers. You're going to... They're about to breach the chamber. You must give it all." And you're conscious of what you're doing, and you don't want to do what you're doing, but you do obey it.
Well, before we continue with all that, can we take 5 then? I've been a bit busy here the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we can do that if you want.
Yeah, I
thank
can go
you.
make myself some dinner.
Yeah, I'll take 5.
Yeah, I'll give a drink to that.
Okay.
Dark, what would be better for an object that possesses people? A hat that possesses them while they're wearing it, or a book that possesses them while they're reading it?
Depends the context of what's causing it to be possession.
It's like a cursed object where someone's just cursed to inhabit that object. And they can only do stuff while they're possessing someone.
It really depends what the story is behind it, because if it was a book that was written a long time ago because the person who wrote the book wants to possess the person reading it, you know, like their spirit enters them or something like that, that would make more sense. I mean, it just depends on what the context, the background to it is.
The way I get Harry Potter vibes.
That's me back to it.
Sorry, Drac, I said that you didn't resist it. You actually did resist it. But you're acutely aware that you're only able to resist this commanding voice because of what is happening here, because of this demonic presence that you're feeling all around you. It's given you a sort of inner strength that you haven't felt before, and you're able to kind of keep control of yourself because of that. And as just after you hear that voice, Drac, you feel, you know, the woman's hand on your shoulder, and the succubus Drakkar whispers to you, "Help me, Drakan."
Man, I had a whole thing planned out too. As soon as you told me that, I was planning.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, I'm here about meeting, so I'll be
I was gonna-
silent for a while.
I was gonna, what's it called when you like emulate your inner person? I was gonna be like an inner Salazar come out of me.
But yes, if you turn the Drakkar, she's standing there, and she's like holding one shoulder and is bleeding, and she's got like a broken arrow like sticking out of it. She's like, "Please, Drakan, please help me."
I'm just gonna try and, I guess, pin her, capture her. At this point,
Capture her, so restrain her.
yeah, I feel like this is the first time she came to me and not sucked me away somewhere I don't know how to get back from. So
Okay, so you're just like pouncing on her. Do you have something in your adventuring gear you want to use?
I guess I would have rope or a net or something, but I'd still have to. I guess since he's touching me, I would just try to pull to the ground and then keep my weight on her while yelling at the others. I guess.
Okay, do you want to roll force, and you'll have advantage, so an extra dice.
Okay. 9 again.
Yeah, I mean, you managed to turn around and restrain her, and start getting like the rope around her, and she lets out a scream of "Help me, please! Someone help me!" And Ryze and Salazar and Ricard. Oh, not Ricard. Yeah, Ryze and Salazar, you will hear the screams of an anguished woman, someone you're familiar with, someone that you care about, and she's in distress because Drakan has like attacked her.
Can I try to resist?
Sorry, I missed all that. Mike cut out.
She screams out for help. Yeah, you can roll force, Salazar. Same with you, Ryze. Although at this point I'm inclined to think Ryze is just going to fall for it every time. Oh no, I mean you're 100%. Your lady is in need of help and aid, and this beast Drakan is like lunged on her and attacked her.
I'm gonna run over and tackle Drakan.
Yeah, so you knock her to the ground, Drakan, you start putting ropes around her, she lets out a scream for help, and a moment later, Salazar just kind of leaps onto you, and the two of you kind of like tumble across each other on the ground.
I knew we couldn't trust you, demon. Bringing hostages.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna respond to him. Just slip into the shadow that's on the ground below me. I guess. I like melt away.
I mean, I think you only kind of push him off you to do that, or like roll with him in order to do that. So do you want to roll?
Or just take him with me, wouldn't I?
I like that even better. Yeah, the two of you kind of like roll across into a shadow, and the two of you just like disappear from everyone's sight. Salazar, you and Drakan both appear in this shadowy, dark corridor, and it looks around, and it's just like a labyrinth of dark corridors.
Does Salazar look different here since he's already been tainted by a shadow creature?
Oh yeah, so Drakan Salazar doesn't look wholly like Salazar. He looks as if he's got this big, massive black stain all across his torso, and his eyes are kind of like black and wispy, like the shadow beasts of this realm.
I'm just gonna leave him there. Like, if I can separate myself from him with a surprise, I'm just gonna leave him there for a second.
Yeah, you could roll quick to try and like quickly dive back out again and leave him behind.
Alright, this would be a +2 on it. I have 7.
I just came back. What's happening?
So Dracan
Yes.
jumped on the succubus. She let out a cry of help. You and Salazar came rushing to her aid. Salazar jumped on Dracan. The two of them rolled across the ground and then just disappeared from sight.
Oh, okay.
After they disappear from sight, Ryze, you're kind of left just standing there, and your injured lady, the succubus, is on the ground with kind of just pulling ropes off of herself that Dracan was trying to restrain her with. You can see she's got like an arrow in one shoulder. She's bleeding this kind of strange black blood. She looks distressed and in pain.
Does Ricardo notice any of this at this point, or is he still oblivious?
I think you would have heard her shouting for help, you and Durdam. But you also have this other huge Durdam sentinel stepping out from the wall coming towards you.
They've kind of sent like 2 people that way. So unless Durdam says it's alright to leave his body double to himself, Ricardo would help here. Unless he like senses that the succubus behind him.
I mean, maybe you heard shouting, but you two are preoccupied with the sentinel right in front of you. That kind of makes more sense, yeah?
Yeah, and we're kind of oblivious. So
Yeah. Yeah, Ryze, she's like kind of like scrolling away from you, as if she's kind of afraid of you, but you're like, maybe you're confused about why she would be afraid of you. I mean, you love her.
Right. I'm pulling out the bandages from my backpack. I'm whispering to her that everything is alright. I'm gonna help her.
And she says, those won't heal me. I need something else. And she reaches up and like puts one of her soft female hands around the back of your head and pulls your head down to draw you into a kiss. Do you want to roll forceful to try and resist?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like you want to go in for it, and then just at the last moment, when you're just centimeters away from her lips, you realize what she's trying to do. What'd you do?
I pretend like I'm gonna go for a kiss, bluffing, and then I'm using my telekinesis to bound her on the floor, not hurting her, just keeping her bound.
Or just
restrained.
just push her to the floor again.
Yeah, using my force to keep her there.
Yep, sure, give me the roll for that. Dracan, you're going to leave Salazar in the Shadow Realm, and as you're going, you kind of look backwards for just a moment, and you can see that whatever it is that's affecting him, that's making him look all shadowy, is attracting the other shadow creatures of the Shadow Realm, and you leave him there alone as these things start to close in on him. Do you feel bad about that in any way?
I guess it would be mixed feelings because he did attack me first, and like the plan is not to leave him there. The plan was to like blink out of existence. So he's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then blink back, and now I'm in a better position and pull him back.
Sure, yeah.
I'm like spinning out of the shadow realm real quick to get there.
While he's grabbing me, what would happen if I shapeshifted in the shadow realm? Would it do anything different since I'm like
you would shapeshift, but you would be like a shadow version of it, and it's a small lizard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that if you want.
Yeah, I'll he just feels all the like he's still mind controlled, right?
No, going into this realm will snap you out of that.
Noticing something wrong and how there's no light here, he just shapeshifts instinctively.
Yep, into this small shadow lizard, which is perfect snack size for many of the creatures lurking here. Dracan like zips out and he's back into the main chamber with everyone else. And you can see that the succubus is like pinned to the ground. And Ryze is like standing over, probably with like an arm stretched out towards her.
Yeah, I spent all my mana, and I'm gonna be stressed because I'm still feeling like I don't want to do this, but I'm also aware of the situation, so it's putting up a stress.
Yep, makes
Okay.
perfect sense.
Right, so if he had the situation under control, then I would go back for Salazar.
Sure. You nip back through to Salazar. Salazar is kind of like in lizard form. You just see this tiny little shadow lizard. I mean, probably hard to kind of even recognize him. And you can see these large, like snake-like shadows coming along from the different directions of the labyrinth towards him. They've smelt prey and they're coming to feed. Durdam and Ricardo. Meanwhile, you two are facing off towards this bigger Durdam sentinel that stepped out from the wall, and it lumbers towards you slowly and starts to build up speed like Durdam does. What do you two want to do?
First of all, like, holds out his hand towards it, like, gesturing for it to stop, and shouts, like, "Brother, like, stop. Like, we're here to stop this ritual."
Okay, what about you, Ricardo?
Ricardo will use while it's focusing on it to charge at Durdam. He'll duck low, keep low, and try and get round behind it and cut it the back of its knee again.
Okay, so
Try and cause it to fall.
that's a sneaky maneuver.
Yes, it is, and it's -1, whatever this is. But as he's doing that, he's also going to tell Durdam, "It's no use. These are not like you, my friend."
I
And
love
I
it.
totally failed.
I love it.
Yeah, that's not going to go good.
Durdam, can you roll your defense with disadvantage?
I do have pain
Oh.
and gain from the last one.
Okay, so they'll negate each other.
Yeah, I'll just...
Oh, so good.
Whoa.
Okay, so you can take.
tank this thing on.
Yeah, you're going to take a pain or distress of your choice, as this thing charges past Ricardo and just like slams into you.
I'll take -1 forward.
But yeah, I mean, it just like slams into you, and the two of you go crashing into the wall.
And Ricardo's going to scream out, "Durdam!"
Two of them just like rumbles at it and goes like, "You may be kin, but if you stand between us, I'll take you as a servant of Malekith." And then like dive to them against the wall. Like interchange their positions.
Alright, just like throw it to the side and yeah, get on top of it. That sounds forceful.
And I'm pain is gaining again. Which is 11, I think?
Yeah, it should be 11. Yes, you slam it into the wall, causing like cracks to appear in its shoulders where you've like slammed it with force. And the orange light that kind of like holds it all together just kind of glows into a red. The thing remains silent. Yeah, it's going to like glow a red, and you're going to see the energy kind of like seeping out of all the cracks in the shoulders that you just created. Sorry, Jack, what are you saying?
I said sorry, I didn't mean to roll that. I was fiddling around with the dice roller.
Sure. Anyway, you nip back into the Shadow Realm, and you see this little lizard that's going to get munched by all these massive shadow serpents. What do you do?
I guess what I came there to do is pick it up and back.
You okay? Do you want to roll quick to just like scoop him up and get out of there?
Right.
Expertly done. Yes, you just like sweep him up. Just as like one of the jaws kind of like snaps where he was, and the two of you just like dive through one of the shadows back into the chamber where you came from. And again, Ryze, you've got this succubus pinned to the ground. And now she's like screaming, and you can see like a violet glow in her eyes as she's like staring up at you, demanding that you let her go. How dare you hold me? And then she looks at you, Drakan. Drakan, please tell him. Let me go.
Don't let her go.
But we are kin,
Ryze
you
is-
and I.
Not that I'm aware of.
And then she looks at you, Ryze, and she goes, he lies. He knew all along.
Ryze is silent. His hand shakes, almost tears in his eyes. But as he's holding her pin down, he's going for the execution. He's gonna chop off the head.
Sure, that sounds like a steely determination with force.
Do we have advantage since she's pinned down to the floor?
I mean, I'm assuming you're having to sustain it while she's held down, though, yeah? Because you're holding her down. It's not just a case of you did it once. You have to like sustain it while you're doing it. And then you're
Okay,
also
so-
kind of resisting her, you know, demanding that you don't do it, and what we've had before.
So am I first rolling for spell maintaining?
No, I think you could just do one roll, just like a standard roll, because it is going to negate any kind of advantage you had. It's like cancelling each other out.
Oh, okay.
Not the mad.
Oh, I'm gonna use my lucky.
Wow.
Oh, clutch. Okay, yes, sure, with the lucky you can. You like stride over, like you stand 1 foot either side of her head, and you take your sword in like a sweeping motion. Do you say anything to her before you do this?
Yes, I tell her that I once felt love like this, but unfortunately this one is not real.
She just screams, no, as you like lop her head off. And it gurgles for a second after you lop it off. And the eyes roll, looking around in like a panic just for a moment before the life fades from the demon's corpse. And the body just kind of like all shrivels up into ash.
And Ryze is holding the ashes in his hands. The tears are going down to his face because he remembers that long time ago he lost a great love of his life.
When she dies, Jacan, can you feel like you've just drank a healing potion? Can you roll 1d4 and recover that many wounds? So you recover 1 wound and all of your pain.
No, I ain't had no luck with these healing potions.
You feel
I think I got
You feel
Well, maybe-
refreshed, revitalized, strengthened. Whatever happened there, it just makes you feel big and powerful and strong and healthy. It's a very pleasant feeling. And Ricardo, you see the Duradam, gets slammed into the wall, and then he turns it about and slams the other sentinel into the wall, and then that sentinel starts to glow red. So what do you do? Oh, wait, he said he was away for a second, didn't he? So Durdam, once you've got this thing pinned, what'd you do?
I think he'd probably try to like incapacitate it further. So he's going to try and like the equivalent of breaking its joints, like targeting its like arm and trying to like pull the boulder apart
Mm-hmm.
or like crush it.
Okay, it sounds like another forceful.
I'm doing really good on rolls at the moment. Like he'd rather not kill it, even if it's not properly alive, just because he thinks it's like him, so he can learn something from it.
Sure. So you like grab. I imagine it's like kind of like at the joints, maybe like rings of runes that kind of signify that joint, and you're just like grabbing those and twisting them and crushing them, causing the separation, and the rocks just start to like fall off one arm then the other. Yeah, when you do that, it's just the wound you already inflicted. The energy continues to seep out of it, and it looks at you, you know, rune eye to rune eye, and there's just like a moment that you can almost feel, the fear that it feels at what's happening to it. Just that kind of moment of humanity between the two of you, before the energy kind of like just expels from the form completely, and the thing just falls into a pile of rubble.
And he just kind of steps back and looks at it, and then looks around to see. Like he'd heard the scream earlier and didn't know what it was, so he's probably seeing a dead woman now.
Well, you see a pile of ash, and Ryze is on his knees with a handful of ash.
Durdam, are you okay, my friend?
And he just quietly mutters, "Aye," and then walks over. What's happened, Ryze?
Ryze wipes off his tears and faces the rhythm. Well, the succubus. She's gone. She's dead. One trouble
Well,
less.
Thank the goddess that the abomination is gone from this world.
He's not really sure what's happening, but he just kind of kneels down and looks at Ryze and Ryze and goes, "Are you okay?"
This is just bringing some memories, long forgotten. Yes, I am fine. Eyes on the prize. Eyes on the prize, brother. We still have to stop the ritual.
Dragon, how are you holding Salazar? Like,
Guess by like your neck or something. Like I don't know how I would hold a lizard like that. I guess I would have just found a spot that wasn't occupied by your wings and just snatched it up.
it starts squeaking and writhing in your arm.
But I guess I'd let you go when I like, bend down to the ground, let you go.
He just lands on the ground and starts coughing into his hand like he's in human form, but he just stops and looks at himself. It's like in a high-pitched voice you hear, something's wrong. I can't change back.
That was a lot funnier than it should have been.
Is he still a shadow lizard, or is he back to normal now that we're over here?
No, he looks normal now.
Okay.
Yes, so I mean, there's now nothing else in this chamber but yourselves, and the panels in the centre of this cavernous spherical chamber, with a large brass etching door on the far side, and the spaces where the sentinel bodies were.
The them just heads over to the one that the corridor had gestured to. Just tries placing his hands on it in no particular place. Just
Salazar and Drakan, you can still hear the voice in your head. It's not as booming as it was before. It's more like enraged and angry that no one is listening to it, no one is obeying it. It's like, you will obey me. I am the mighty Southron, you will do what I command.
Can we get an idea of which direction it's coming from?
No, because it's like inside your head.
A little yappy thing, isn't it?
We just need to open these doors and then we can end this. Earl says he walks up to the big brass doors.
Sure, much like the other doors you've seen here already. They're large, rectangular, with the huge circular rings to pull them open. But these ones have like just a normal looking red rope that ties the two hoops together.
Oh yeah, as well, Ricardo will go look for his other rapier.
Yeah, to
was not
retrieve it from
for
the
him.
other side of the chamber, yeah.
Yep, because he's no longer, it's been disconnected from it. The blessing's now worn off though.
Mm.
So
Salazar, just stuck in his lizard form, will head over to the panel where Duridan is and climb up it to see if he can help by recognizing the symbols.
and I will attempt to bless both my rapiers this time. And they'll use 1 mana, so cancels out the -1. I'll take -1 again.
Sure, so you just revitalize the blessing on the sword.
I don't know
Did
what
the
kind of
pan-
abominations or what might be in there. So
did the panels respond to Durden's touch in any way?
If you wave your like hands across them, yes. They'll slightly glow as your hand kind of like passes across them.
And I take it there wouldn't be any like obvious similarities between like the ship and these ones.
There's similarities, you might recognise some of the sigils, but obviously you don't have enough to coherently translate the language.
Well, if there's any that look like they'll cause an explosion, he'll avoid that one.
Yeah, that one will exist, as will the ones for like the directions of going up and down and forward and such and accelerate. All the flight control ones are actually present.
Just calls out. I don't know if this is for the door.
What do you mean?
I thought these would be the gate controls, but it looks as if this can move.
Maybe we can use it to seal the volcano. Trap all those demons inside. Yeah. Salazar just squeaks up from the top of the panel.
Is that safe?
Probably not. But we're not in a very safe situation right now, are we?
I suppose it might be safer than demons, yes. And he just tries giving the down button a tap.
Sure. You can all feel. It's not a sudden jerk. It's just like a gradual descent, and you can feel that that feeling in your stomach as it kind of like starts to like sink downwards. Although it's not too perceptible, given where you are. But there's definitely a sensation of movement.
How are you meant to steer this when we can't see anything? And he actually asks this and looks around the room. If we aren't directly above the crater, then I don't know what will happen.
We'll crash.
There was like two other panels that lined like the sides of the room.
Yes,
There were
there's
different
there's,
ones
there's,
there.
there's panels kind of parallel or either side of the main panel in sort of symmetrical layout. And they have a different set of sigils on them.
I can imagine those might be how this thing sees. Pointing to the two panels at either side.
And do them all inside them.
Thousands of Dracan, you can hear the voice now screaming in your heads. Like, no, stop, what you're doing.
As that's
We should
going on,
get this door
Ricardo's going to try and get the door open. It sounds like Dracan's going to help him.
He wants
Okay.
that door open.
Yeah, so the door's there with the big knockers and just this simple rope that is like tying them both together
We'll just got the rope.
with your sword.
I'll take a knife from like the adventuring kit. Because rapier's not exactly good for like cutting a thick rope.
Okay, you're gonna like hold it with your hand and then cut it with a knife then.
Yeah, just saw it with a knife.
Okay, so you reach out and you hold the rope and then you freeze completely, and Dracan, you can see him and he just stops moving.
I'm not touching him.
I'll climb up to his shoulder and start poking his head, see what's wrong.
He's completely motionless.
It's warding magic. Don't touch the rope.
Well, since he's holding it with his hand, can I just cut it with a dagger? Without touching, would that work?
I mean, it's kind of hard to like swipe cut it with the dagger, I would think. You would need to kind of like saw cut it, you know what I mean? You could probably do it with a sword.
Oh, only I have a sword. What on machete? Would that work?
Jordan has an axe.
There you go, Jordan. We'll use his axe.
Well, I mean, there's a few bladed weapons between you all, but yeah.
I have a sword, but I don't know how I can get it out right now.
Yeah. But yeah, Ricardo, I mean, you can hear everybody, but you can't even move your eyes. You're completely frozen in place.
Yeah, if asked for the axe, two of them won't give it to anyone other than to Ryze.
I mean, no one
So-
asked for it, so.
Yeah, just if you do ask, then
I'll just try to pull Ricardo away from the boat.
Okay, so you'll need to give him like a good tug because he is holding the rope.
Right.
I'm just trying to think. No, I mean, if he's holding the rope, he's going to be like attached to the rope if you're pulling him.
Well, I'm wearing gloves, so
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
I would pull the boat tight, wouldn't it? So then if someone wanted to cut it, at least the rope would be
That is true, yes.
tight. That was my main goal with that.
Sure.
I see someone to cut the rope, so then we can just pull it from his hand, like pull him from the end of it.
Okay, so which of you is going to cut the rope? I'm sensing a hesitancy.
I'll do it. Can I see your dagger? I'll just climb down Ricardo's hand to start sawing it with the dagger.
This would form. This would be nice to see.
We could use the knife that's in Ricardo's hand.
Assuming if you're frozen.
It's just sitting above the rope.
What, just like grab it and start moving his hand back and forth?
Start using his hand like a saw.
Yeah, I'm just sitting on one hand and using his other hand as a saw.
The blade does not seem to be severing the threads of the rope at all.
Is there some kind of a knot?
Yes, there's like a very simple knot that's holding the rope together.
Then I can try to use telekinesis on it.
I mean, that sounds kind of like precision for telekinesis.
Yeah, it's like a pincer magic.
I don't think you can. I tell you what, do it with disadvantage.
Well, I could try. What could go wrong? Oh, and I can use my ability to turn it into advantage.
Which ability is that?
True grit. Once per session, I can turn disadvantage into advantage.
Okay, sure.
Hey, pass.
Yep, that'll do it. Yes, I imagine a great deal of patience and skill required to kind of gingerly wield your telekinesis in such a way that you can untie a knot. But you are able to do so. And once you do so, the rope falls away, and it's just Ricardo like holding the rope in one hand.
Still, do not touch the rope. I don't know what are we gonna do about Ricardo, but I suppose this warding magic could go off in moments or maybe hours. I don't know, or when whoever has put this rope together is defeated. I'm not sure. Warding magic can be very different.
Can I try to?
I like to try again in dodge part.
So has
No.
Alex now turned from a little lizard to a dog now?
He's turned into a sausage dog.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got an idea. It could be possible even that this warding magic is working on touch. So we just need to get the rope out of his hand. Maybe then he could be freed.
Yeah, Salazar starts like pulling his fingers up one at a time in his little lizard form, and the rope just drops from Ricardo's hand, and Ricardo, full motion, is returned to you.
Oh, good.
Thank you, my good friends. You have saved my life from eternal torment. And we have unsealed the door. And Ricardo's going to just immediately start working on opening the door.
So you just reach up, grab one of the rings, and you just pull the door open.
Yep.
Does
Sure.
he freeze again
No,
as soon as he touches the ring?
Take a wind as soon as you touch the ring.
What's causing the wind?
Magic.
All right.
Do you have
You're
magic
not
resistance?
magical resistance.
You
Yes,
can
I have magic
You can
resistance.
reduce that to a pain then.
Okay, I'll take the pain. So I will just cry out loudly. Oh, that's a burning.
Ah, another board.
But but I've pulled the door open. Now we can enter.
Inside is a very sort of narrow chamber. It's more rectangular than the spherical chamber you were just in. Standing on a little platform is probably like a halfling-sized creature with a sort of tentacles for a mouth. It's got a large, broad, squid-like head, and it has long red robes on. Well, as long as you can be when you're that height. And it has a kind of squelchy, squeaky kind of voice. And it holds its hands up as if it's, about to wield some great power at you. Don't come any closer, I'm warning you all.
Carter's just going to draw his rifle and sprint towards it and try and stab it in the head.
Roll quick for me.
So +1. Oh no!
You pull out your sword, you charge at your target, your enemy, and what everyone else sees is you kind of like turn around and charge straight at the nearest member of your party. Who is that?
I'd probably be sitting on his shoulder.
Well, so not you.
Yeah, it'll be Drakan who's helping me open the door.
Sure, Jacan, he just pulls out his sword and like charges towards you with his sword. What'd you do?
I'll jump back and gain distance, I guess. Like sprint away from him, since that's kind of one of my things of running away. That's what I do.
Okay, do you want to roll
Yeah,
quick
my
for me?
sword is also super effective against you, so I'd avoid it.
8 + 2 is 10.
Yes, Jacan turns and runs, and Ricardo, you basically like just chase after him with your sword.
Oh.
The two of them run across into the circular hall, and will continue running as far as Jacan's going to run away from him.
Until I get to the nearest shadow.
Yes, until he disappears into the shadow. What's everyone else do?
Then looks up from the panel and just sees like Ricardo running around in the hall.
Can I break free of this due to magic resistance? Try and break free of it.
Once he disappears, you can roll force to try and break free, yeah. And you can have an advantage.
Yeah, it's a 10 then.
Yes, once he disappears into the shadow and you're on the other side of the spherical room, you kind of regain your senses. Like, he's not an enemy, what am I doing?
Person magic in mind control magic.
The little diminutive illithid or mind flayer creature in the chamber still points at you, Ryze. I'm warning you. Retreat now, or you'll face my vengeance.
Just gonna use that moment to get up and climb up the wall and see what happens real quick.
Salazar's gonna jump off Ricardo's shoulder and try to sneak towards the halfling mind flayer.
And Ricardo's going to repeat his charge.
Salazar, do you want to roll sneaky?
Would I have advantage since I'm small?
No, you won't. His method of detection doesn't matter what you physically look like.
Also, he's like mentally connected to you still. So.
You managed,
so I'm not...
you sneak around position, but I mean, he's got one eye on you the whole time. He knows where you are, but he's unable to kind of like physically prevent you. You can feel him like sending in mind signals into your head to try and tell you to stop and halt and turn around and attack the others and all the rest of it. But you're able to fight that and circle around into position. But he's aware that you're there. But he's also like keeping the other eye on Ryze and Duradam, And you get the impression that he is exceptionally fearful of Duradam.
I guess I just start attacking from distance to sound anything.
So yeah, Ricardo's going to charge back in, but what's Duradam and Ryze doing since you are like in the room with this creature?
Does he have anywhere to go? It's
It's just
the end
this
of the room.
chamber. There doesn't seem to be anywhere to go.
Duradam just starts walking towards him.
Raises both his hands and he's like pushing one out towards you in the stop motion. Call back your creature.
Duradam just asks, like, who are you? Are you controlling the guards out there?
Call it off now, I demand you. And he's like shouting at Ryze when he says this.
This is not gonna work here. You know that? You have nowhere to go. You can surrender.
The mighty Southran does not surrender. I'm all powerful. You will call off your monstrosity at once, or you will feel my wrath.
Ricardo's
Ryze-
running back into the room, charging with his rapier.
Once Duradam gets close enough, he's just going to try and like clasp his hand around them.
Yes, you just like clasp him in your hands, like lift him up, and he's like wriggling his little arms around. You can see the little frond tentacles where his mouth is, just like wriggling furiously in anger.
Did you kill my kin?
I've killed many. I cannot even remember their names.
And he just throws them behind them to the floor. Like at the feet of the other party members.
Sure, you throw him over your shoulder, and he lands on the ground, and Ricardo, you come charging into the room at this moment.
Then I'll just stamp my foot into its stomach and then stab it right in the head.
Yes, it dies. It stops moving.
Well, I was just trying to say I would stop Ricardo.
Oh, okay.
After all, we might gather some information out of him.
Okay, so Ricardo comes charging into the room with the intention of doing as he described. But Ryze, you do what? You stick out an arm and hold him?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick out the arm. Grab his hand.
Move your hand, Ryze. You're under its control.
No, but I think he might have some valuable information for us.
It cannot be trusted. It is a creature that manipulates the mind. Whatever you say, whatever you think it says, may completely be false. There is no way to verify it.
You might be right. It's 5 of us here. If somebody starts acting funny, we kill him. And I look at this halfling creature. You can.
Why do you spare such a beast?
Well, if he calls some information, we might spare him. Now, how much do you value your life, creature? Do you have something interesting to tell us?
I will not betray my lord and master, Hypnos. Not for the likes of you, Realm Warden.
And that moment, Ryze starts to glow. His misty, light blue eyes start to crackle up. His arms start to glow and he pulls out his sword. Well, if you're so smart, you know I can execute your soul.
Well, I'm
As a
well.
realm.
Yeah, it says, I'm well aware of your power, but I'm wondering why are you attacking me when the one you want to slay is with you in your own party?
You're probably referring to half demon here.
I'll just, at that point, I'll just stab in its head. Irrelevant what he wants.
Kills it.
He's trying to mess with your mind. Deceive you, manipulate you. You can never trust such a creature.
You're right. Never trust
Words
such
are
a
nothing
creature.
but his words are nothing but lies and filth.
And of course, Drakan, you heard what it said as well.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm up on a wall away from everybody. I know exactly who got this order and the stick on this deal.
Ryze will look at Jokan. Jokan, do you have something to tell us?
No.
Why is everybody so interested in you?
I'm what I am.
Exactly. You are what?
Half-demons are creatures of two natures. One of mortals and one of the demonic.
And what is so special about them? Hmm?
I'm assuming it's
They
because
can
all of
breed.
you are trying to stop this, and they think they can make me stop you. Oh, I know.
There is many a debate in the world. Well, they are worth saving or not, these half creatures. But they are sometimes produced of love, others of hate. And so Euphoria does not discriminate against them. But those that choose the darker half of their nature fall to that. Sometimes they cannot be redeemed.
The entire chamber shudders and shakes as if it's just like crash landed into something and everyone falls to the ground.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was your logo in there.
The architecture cracks like up of the walls, chunks of the ceiling fall down. It's as if an earthquake has just happened.
I suppose it's time to go. The ritual is stopped. There is nothing for us here.
Two of them
Yes.
tries to make sure he's not fallen on top of anyone, and then goes like, "Well, that have stopped it. We didn't crash into the gate."
Well, this island is about to crash into the gate. I think it's best we evacuate.
Did this halfling creature left something magical behind? Some kind of artifact or something valuable?
If you search it in its tiny little purse, it has a tiny little leather purse, and inside that are like little rounded edged square pieces of bone with runes carved into them.
Oh, he plays
Oh.
dice.
Sorry,
He plays dice.
maybe.
I'm gonna show it to Duridan and ask him if he found some of them familiar. Also, Salazar might know something about these carvings.
The carvings do appear to be in the same language as the carvings present in the place that you're currently in. So definitely the same language.
I'll assume Duradum doesn't know enough about the language to know what they mean, considering he doesn't know anything on the panels.
Salazar will pick one of them up and just carefully observe it. How big are they? Are these little dice?
So I mean, if a human's they're like an inch across.
Yeah, so he's using both hands to like to pick it up and like turn it around and stuff. Do I recognize any of them?
Sure, you probably recognize some of them. You recognize the one for flight, the one for power. You recognize a couple of them as like divine signs of Amon.
If we fell from the sky, does that mean that this tiny creature was powering this entire island?
Well, if you were controlling the ship, maybe you just use it to land. You were pressing some buttons.
I mean, unless it continued going down the entire time since he tapped it.
Yeah, you must not have pushed the brake.
Maybe
But
it's
Oh, you go, Bird.
Oh no, I was just saying maybe that is what happened.
But anyways, I could agree with Ricardo. I think it's time to evacuate.
What are the rat men doing now that the
So
sapling is dead?
yeah, so as you ascend the stairway, the rats are like now frantically scrabbling and squeaking behind the doors that Ricardo had sealed on his way down the stairs. You can see the doors like vibrating as they're like trying to push and shove and trying to get out desperately. They're much more vocal and animated than they were before.
I'll open the first door we get to, and if the rats don't attack us, I'll keep opening doors to let them scurry out and
Yeah,
flee.
I mean they'll just like surge past you like, you know, like rats fleeing a sinking ship kind of thing.
Because they're not our
Follow
enemies
the rest.
anymore. Come out.
Sorry? Yeah, I mean you're gonna keep freeing them, they will just keep scurrying past you and running out onto the surface. When you get to the surface yourselves, you can see you're like way below the cloud line now. You're not quite level with the ground, but it appears to be that you've landed squarely on top of the mouth of the volcano. You can see the Obsidian Gate itself just kind of like down off to one side. You can see the swarms of demons coming out of it have stopped, although there's still a massive flock of them above that are kind of like circling and going off to the south. And you can see extending for miles around in all directions around you, you know, the barren wastelands that exist beyond the Dwarven Mountains, which is where you're now situated. As vapors stop coming upwards out of the volcano, over time the clouds will dissipate and spread out, and eventually the sky will be able to be seen once more, and the sun will start to peek through, and that's where we'll stop for today.
Cool.
I'm glad the succubus is dead. I was tired of being yanked to places.
Okay, so everyone gets 1 XP. And then did anyone do a drive?
Yeah, I killed the mind flayer.
Anyone else?
I don't think so.
I found a sky island.
Duradum definitely learned stuff about himself since we saw the
Yeah,
murals of the people this culture were building Duradums.
like he's now been cast into more confusion though, because he thought he'd finally learned what he was, and now he's like, "Oh, am I not?"
There's even more to it.
Well, Lendy's not unique.
Yeah. At least he's a derivative, although he's different from these ones, so he's more like a derivative than a descendant.
Did you get a drive, Phil?
Well, I'm thinking maybe learning about magic
Yes.
or
And how different magics work, yeah, sure.
yeah, that can go.
Okay, characters that did something awesome.
I did quite like just that scene at the end with Ryze and Ricardo, like arguing over whether or not to kill him. Like Ryze saving the mind flayer, and then Ricardo just stabbing him anyway.
There's all these mental creatures, all they do is mess with your head. It's like, just don't listen to them.
Also, the entire fight with Salazar and Ricardo and Ryze, like
Yeah.
just everyone like on the ascent, you know.
The battle on the shark,
Yes.
it was just like, honest, that might be one of the best RPG moments ever. The battle on the shark.
That was awesome. That was really awesome.
And I liked the Dracan and Ryze fighting the succubus too. Or attempting to fight the succubus.
There was a lot of like inter-party kind of turning on each other when no one wanted
I
to.
love it. As well, I love Salazar turning to the lizard in the Shadow Realm. It's like, yeah, I'm going to turn to a tiny little lizard.
I think my favorite was Draken just not noticing himself changing forms and stuff when he was rescuing Ricardo.
Yeah, I love it. And he rescues Ricardo. And Ricardo's like, "There's a demon in front of me." It's like, even though you've helped me, it's like, I find a bit of information before I kill you. And it's like, I'm Dracan. What? I love that moment. It's like, where did you come from? It's like, I've been with you for ages.
Well, also Dracan, like the first instance he gets with the succubus where she's not like got the jump on him.
Until
He's just like,
Yeah,
I'm
she's
gonna
not
get you.
I was tired of being yanked to places like this out of nowhere. You're like, all right, someone touches you, and then someone's else. I'm like, fuck. Can't even do anything. I'm just gone. I'm getting tired of that.
I find it quite awesome how Duridan has a sense of humor.
Wait, what? Sense of humor?
Durden's sense of humor is so funny. The dry wet of Durden was just every game. It stitches at least once from that wet.
So I mean, I think most everybody gets an XP for that one then. Party overcame notable enemy or task.
The mind flare.
Yeah, closing
They
the
defeated
Like
They
the
defeated
car, the
Salazar.
gate, and the mind flail.
closing the portal is the task anyway, so everyone gets an XP for that one. And then party learns something new about one of their characters or the world.
We learnt about Amon, the history of the living god, as well as the other Duradums, the proto-Duradums. And the connection between Amon and the airship, and then therefore Duradum as well.
Sure, so that's another XP for everyone. Assuming on next rest, somebody's going to have a level up.
That last one put me at enough XP. Didn't get any else, gonna be one side.
Yeah.
I think
I have enough. Yeah, 13 I need, so yeah, I've got enough to level up as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually ask what I should note the axe down on the sheet as.
Azarax axe.
And unknown properties.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they'll reveal themselves in a short time considering the nature of yourself.
I think I could even be close to having double level up. I have 24 XP.
What
Yeah.
level are you?
I'm level 3.
So that'll be 13 plus 15, That's your 4 XP off of 2 levels up.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
many more sessions do you plan?
3, I think.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I might definitely.
That takes us to the 18th, 3 sessions.
Yeah, it should be 3.
Just occurred to me that we cached another good mode of transport.
Yeah.
We crashed 3 airships. Not 1, not 2, but 3. I think, like there's always like some sort of recurring meme in every campaign. I think this one is crashing airships.
I thought it was suicidal. Soldier.
Oh, Suicidal Satyr's this character meme. It's like, every Shadowrun game, it's always grenades is the meme. It's like just solve every problem with grenades and explosives and blowing shit up. Then, yeah.
Anyways, guys, I'm gonna see you next week.
Yep. Catch you there, man.
Even.
See ya.
All right. See you guys later.